Hey guys, it's me, the Cuddly Kobold, or Alyssa, whichever. And today is a rainy, thundery day. As you might be able to hear, I don't actually know if the mic on my phone will be able to pick that up. But it is thundering, it is raining, and it is windy outside. That's why it's kind of dark in here because I don't have any natural light coming through. Um, so yeah, if you hear thundering and raining, that's what it is. It's actually kind of great to craft in. I Thunder kind of scares me a bit still. I know that's a little childish, but it's the sudden noise that bothers me. Sudden loud noises always bother me. So it's a kind of a auditory thing. Anyway, how have you been? I hope great. I thought I'd get on here and knit some while I talk to you. Now, what I'm knitting today is a scarf, as you could probably see, and it is the Fisherman's Rib Scarf. Now, there are a lot of tutorials on YouTube, none of which I really like, because I tried them and none of them added up. I don't know if it was something I was doing or it's just the pattern wasn't working for me. Anyway, I went on Ravelry and I found a fisherman's knit pattern that really works. So I've been trying to do brioche as well, but I have not had any luck with brioche knitting. I know it's I know fisherman's rib is a simplified version of brioche knitting, so I probably could do it if I found the right pattern. I just haven't found the right pattern yet. So yeah, that's what I'm knitting. It's in impeccable tweed. It's impeccable tweed loops and thread. Don't know the colorway. I don't have the label on me right now. Probably should have had that ready to go because I do have another ball of this. Uh, so yeah, I actually made a lot more progress on this than what it looks like, but I realized that the pattern was for DK weight yarn and the impeccable tweed is on the chunky side of worsted weight. So it ended up being way too big. So I just cast on an odd amount of stitches and went from there. And now it's much better, but I did lose a lot of progress. But obviously, because it's not as wide, it'll go a little faster, I'm hoping. Ooh, that rain's coming down hard now. But yeah, you may also notice that it's a change of scenery. I'm not in the living room of the house I was in, and I'm not in the crafting trailer. That's because there is no more crafting trailer, and I'm in a different house. I actually, so what happened is we were in Arizona, and my fiance quit his job because they were just terrible to him, absolutely horrendous to him. So he quit his job, and I told my cousin, she was like, well, you could probably get a job here where I work. So he did get the job, and so we packed up his Malibu car with everything we could, and we just moved on down here to back to Virginia. So I'm back in Virginia, in my aunt's house. So yeah, I'm in the living room of my aunt's house, and I don't know, everything's fine, basically. And that's where I'm at. And that's why we changed sceneries. Moving was a bitch. Excuse my French. But like I said, we had to leave a bunch of stuff behind. I had to leave behind all my books. All my books. But his parents said eventually they'll make their way down here to drop off the rest of our stuff because they like taking vacations and stuff like that. And the reason why they didn't help us move back down here is because his mom had surgery, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But yeah, so it's like a 3-day car journey down here. So we actually took 4 days because 3 days is being very generous. It's if you do extremely long car ride, so we'd actually took 4 days to get down here, just because we didn't want to completely exhaust ourselves. I don't even know if you guys can hear me over this rain, but yeah. Uh, so we settled in, and my aunt said we could live with her. I pay her rent, obviously, and we pay for groceries, so we're not mooching off of her. Um, just so you know. But it's been a big journey and hard to move again. But I'm glad I'm back in Virginia. Um, and my fiance has a much better job. They treat him much better. So that is a plus. He works in construction. I'm not going to say where. But he does work in construction. He likes working with his hands, so that's great. And yeah, let's get these stitches here. Um, living with my aunt. So for context, this year, my grandmother, we called her Mama, she passed away from cancer that had gotten into her bones. And it's left a giant empty spot where she was, because she actually lived in this house with my aunt. I actually lived, before I moved in with my fiance and his family, I lived with them as well. So now that she's gone, it's just like Christmas isn't going to be the same, holidays aren't going to be the same. We live in the house where all of her stuff is still out. We haven't completely cleaned it out. And it's really difficult to do so, especially for my aunt. Because, she lived with my grandparents all her life. My grandfather passed away last year around the same time my grandmother. Actually, it wasn't around the same time my grandmother passed. My uh, grandma, he passed away near my grandmother's birthday, like the day after her birthday, he passed, which is a god awful birthday present. But um, yeah, so it's just now I only have one grandparent because my other grandfather passed away of lung cancer. Cancer is very prevalent where I live. As you guys know, I had cancer myself. Obviously, I didn't die from it. I'm still here, unless this is a ghost talking to you. The cancer is very prevalent where I live. It seems to be getting more and more prevalent everywhere. But anyway, I only have my Nana left, and it's just kind of empty. And a little bit sad. Like, I was looking at my Christmas list for this year because I like to get an early start on it so it's not a big financial burden at the end of the year. Um, and my mama's name was still on it, and I had a good cry about it. And it's just been a little tough, but we will pursue. Per, I just forgot the word. We will carry on with our lives because that's all you can do. And I don't think the person who passed away would want you to stop life because they died. I think they want you to live on. But yeah, that's just my philosophy about it. Um, and such. But yeah, it's just been an adjustment period for all of us. Um, living in Virginia, I actually prefer living in Virginia. Arizona was okay. Windy as all get out, but okay. Virginia, on the other hand, weather wise, Arizona was better. Now, you may be saying Arizona is hot during the summer. Yes, it is. However, I lived in the mountains, didn't get as hot as the valley, and it's not humid. Not really humid at all up there. Virginia, however, it gets really hot, even in the forest, and it's super humid, so anytime you go out, you're drenched. which is fun. So, weather-wise, I would prefer Arizona. However, I love Virginia because it has better Medicaid, and my family's here. Some I get along with, some I don't. But yeah, I'm glad to be near my niece and my cousin and her children because they're kind of my best friends. And I'm happy to be with the forest and in the mountains again because I did miss it and such. Because I did live in the northern part of Arizona where the woods are, but where we live didn't really have any forest or anything. There is a wooded area of Arizona. It's called Pine Top, and it's very foresty. It's very nice. However, it's very expensive to live there. So we didn't live there. Um, so yeah, I'm kind of happy to be back in the Appalachian Mountains, and yes, it's how you pronounce it, Appalachian, not Appalachia. It's Appalachia. Anyway, getting off of that, you may have noticed that I haven't really been doing long form content, and that is because it's simply not as popular as my short form content is. That and long form content is a lot harder to make, obviously, because it's long and I have to edit it, and it takes a while to actually. My brain just blanked. Takes a while to film it as well, is what I'm wanting to say. And yeah, I like doing it. It's just sometimes I don't feel like doing it because I have a lot of health issues going on. So short form is just easier. Most of my short form are art related. Like recently, I did a series on me sketching and posting the results, which I need to start doing that again. But it's just easier, and I have more accounts that are geared towards short form, such as TikTok, Instagram, stuff like that. But that doesn't mean that I won't do long form occasionally, like I'm doing now, because I still enjoy doing it, and I still enjoy talking to you guys. Whoever does listen. Oh man, it started raining really hard again. Um, I really hope it doesn't flood if it keeps raining like this because we live right next to a stream, and when it rains too much, it floods the yard. Now, our house, we haven't had water in our house yet because our house is on I don't know what you'd call it, but it's high up because of the stream. So we don't really get flooded in the house, but um, last year it flooded so badly that the fire department came out and got us and said we needed to evacuate the house. So we did, but nothing happened. No water got in the house, and it was fine. It was just they were afraid because the water had gotten so um, fast and so high. They were like, we don't, if it takes your house, we don't want you in it, obviously. So we left, which was really difficult because at the time we had Papa with us still. And actually, it wasn't last year. It was like not last year, but the year before that. My Papa had dementia really badly. So he didn't understand what was going on. He wanted to go home, threw a fit that he couldn't go home. We were in a hotel room, and it was really difficult for all of us. So, yeah, I'm glad that didn't happen again while he was still with us because I don't know if we could have handled it. People with dementia can be really hard to handle. Um, a lot of them do get violent. I know my papa did because before he had dementia, papa would never raise his hand against anyone, would never yell, would never be angry hardly with me. And after dementia, obviously, he forgot who we were. He forgot the house where he was at. He would say he wants to go home when he was already home. And I think he meant his mother's home and all of his he's the youngest, but obviously he was like in his 90s, so his mother and all of his siblings had already passed away, so there was no home for him to go to. So it was just a confusing time for him. And so yeah, before he passed. Anyway, enough about the sadness. Um, Long form content. I just don't have as many ideas for long form content as well because honestly, my life is pretty boring. Um, I don't do a whole lot really. However, on the next segment, however, I have started pursuing my art more seriously. My commissions are open. I started a Patreon, Snail Mail Club Patreon. It's in my link in my bio. Um, and I signed up for a couple of festivals to sell at. Now, one of the festivals I'm selling fairy art at because it is a Renaissance book fair festival. They're shutting down the street for it. First of its kind around here, and it's really exciting. I'm really excited for it. My fiance is coming with me, and maybe I can get him to watch the booth while I go look at the peek at the fantasy books because I do love fantasy books. But yeah, it's been a really difficult decision to kind of pursue my art. For various reasons I'm not going to go into. It is a little scary taking that leap, but I'm hoping the leap is worth it. I know it's kind of bad timing because I don't care what anyone says. We're kind of in a recession, um, and financial difficult times. So, um, it's an interesting choice to try and pursue it now. However, I am in my 30s, so maybe I'm having a midlife crisis. But we'll see how it goes. Woo! We'll see how it goes. I don't know if you guys can actually hear the thunder and stuff, but we'll see how it goes. And I'm hoping it goes well. I don't know. It's just I can't get a regular job because I am disabled. I know I don't look disabled because a lot of my disabilities are mental. I do have physical problems, like I do have a heart problem. Woo! Do have a heart problem that affects me as well. But yeah, a lot of my problems are not apparent to the outside people. So it's hard. I would not be able to have a regular job. I wouldn't be able to upkeep it, as do a lot of people with my affliction. In case you didn't know, I have other stuff going on as well, but I'm bipolar, and a lot of bipolar people have a hard time sustaining jobs, and I also have physical problems in addition to my bipolarness, so it's really hard keeping a job. I haven't had a job since I was a nanny, um, because I just haven't been up to it. Because there are some days where I can't even get out of bed, to be honest with you. And I know that wouldn't fly with a job. So, yeah. Anyway, what am I doing next? Well, that's pretty much what I'm doing next. Setting up for art, trying to get people to commission me and sign up for my Snail Club. It's this year. I know it's almost the end of the year, but this year is the year of fairies. So it's going to be all fairy art that I'm doing. I don't know if I'll remember, but I'll put up some of the art here. If I remember, I may not. Because I don't know when I'll actually edit this. Um, essentially. So, yeah, I'll probably end up editing it immediately after I finish recording this. Because that way it's fresh in my mind and I can edit and stuff like that. I don't have to do a ton of editing in this video. I don't think. So, yeah. I also, with art selling at fairs, I had to order prints. Well, let me tell you something. I ordered prints from a local print shop that said that they did art prints. Now, all the reviews I saw were people buying flyers and um, wedding save the dates. So I was a little like, I don't know. But I went ahead and bought some prints off of them. And they came in all right. The prints did. So I was like, okay. So I put in a big order because I needed this for the art fair that I'm going to. And they came in horrible. The paper was horrible. It was streaky. There were pieces of where it had no ink at all. And this wasn't just one or two prints, it was all of them. All of them were this way. And I was devastated and I was mad because the guy who owned it hand delivered it to me. He was like, I hope you like it. And I'm like, man, I hope you didn't know that they looked like this when you handed them to me. So I emailed them and I'm like, hey, this is not okay. Can I have a refund? And they're like, we're sorry. It was probably a computer problem. We can refund you via check, but it'll take a week. And I was like, wait a minute, because I paid via PayPal. And I was like, hold on now. Can't you just pay me back via PayPal? And they were like, well, we're not really, we're new to PayPal and we're not so sure if we can do that. I'm like, well, if you can try, that would be great. Obviously, you can't hear my tone of voice through an email, which is probably for the best. But they're by no means a new business. They have been here in town for a very long time. Um, so I'm not quite sure why they're new to PayPal or any other system where you can buy stuff online. Anyway, a couple days pass and I'm starting to get antsy because I'm like, because they didn't contact me any, and I was like, did they scam me? Am I going to have to report them to PayPal? And finally, after about 2 or 3 days, they contacted me and they said, we managed to issue a refund through PayPal. And I looked, and lo and behold, my refund was issued. So I was really happy, but now I'm stuck with a bunch of bad prints I don't know what to do with. I had to order from Catprint, which is a great site to order your prints from if you have the time to wait for shipping, which luckily I still do. But their shipping's kind of expensive, which is why I wanted a local print artist to do my print so I didn't have to pay for shipping. But such is life sometimes. So I have ordered the prints. Prints are on their way. Hopefully they come in time. My um, art fair isn't until next month, like the 24th of next month, so they should come in time. It's just sad that that happened. I was really excited to have like a local print shop do my prints and stuff like that, but it just didn't work out. So sometimes that happens. I don't know. I wish they would have told me that they're not really an art print shop, because I don't think they've really done art prints before. because the quality was okay at first, but then it just went totally downhill. Anyway, that's pretty much what happened there. And yeah, I have a lot going on, a lot of doctor's appointments to go to, a lot of things happening, and that's been my life so far. Basically, while I'm knitting, telling you this. And I'm done with this row. This is how much? Yeah. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this little yappy video. I'm going to have to figure out a thumbnail for this video. I don't know what to do for that. That's another reason why I don't like long form content, because I have to do a thumbnail, basically. So, yeah. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.